We are about to head into Week 15, and bizarrely, the Cleveland Browns have not been eliminated from playoff contention. And as a matter of fact, they're in the hunt. And as a delusional Browns fan like myself, we're going to the playoffs. And it's not in the way you would expect. Currently, the Browns stand at 5-7-1, and on many sports networks, at the bottom of the wild card race. But let me tell you, realistically, the wild card is not a reliable option. There are a bunch of 7-6 teams up at the top who are playing great football, and unless the Browns can pull a miracle out of their pocket, that's for the Pats fans in the room, it's not going to happen. Too many teams have to lose, too much stuff has to happen, and the way some of the teams up at the top are playing football, that's just not a reliable option, as I said before. So, how do the Browns get to the playoffs if they don't win the wild card? The Browns are going to have to do something that no one would ever think of them doing. They gotta win the division. They gotta win the AFC North. And honestly, this is the most valid, reliable option there is. The Browns stand at 5-7-1, and it's very unlikely that's gonna happen. But the way the schedule is, it just might. Now, the Browns are going to have a lot of things go right, but not as much as the wild card. Currently, the Browns' schedule is as follows: the Denver Broncos, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens. There are some tough matchups, and there's some tough games, and you cannot count anyone out, especially the Bengals. Even though the Bengals don't have the best team, Jeff Driscoll could play football. Well, sort of. He almost beat the Chargers, so you gotta give him that. But anything can happen at any time, and none of these games are guaranteed wins. And honestly, I believe the Browns can stay strong and follow through. They've beaten two of these teams already, and the Broncos, who just allowed 210 yards to George Kittle, I think there's a way. The Browns are going to have to win these games out and improve their record to 8-7-1. Now, unfortunately, due to many misfortunes in the beginning of the season, they need more stuff to happen than they should. And what really angers me is 3 of the first 4 games they played. Can't do too much about Zane Gonzalez missing field goals. That's just Zane Gonzalez. But in Week 4 against the Raiders, we saw one of the worst officiated games of the year, possibly of the decade. And the Browns were cost a first down late in the game to a crew that called this a first down. But this isn't a first down? I don't know. Also, a very horrible call on blowing the play dead when Derek Carr was stripped. Just a lot of stuff happened that was wrong. If the Browns won this game, they would technically only need 2 wins to stay in, but 3 would be very helpful. But then you transition to the next thing. The next thing in this series of events that has to happen is the Pittsburgh Steelers losing all 3 games. And at first you're going to take a step back and say, that's not happening. There's no chance that's going to happen at all. But it can, especially when you look at their schedule. 2 of their 3 games are against very, very solid opponents. And one being the New England Patriots, and the other being against the New Orleans Saints. 2 teams that could blow the Steelers out of the water. This team just lost 3 in a row. They don't know how to stay on side. They don't know how to do anything right at this point. And injuries can plague them. And obviously these 2 games are not given losses. The Steelers can still be a strong team. But this is usually the time of year they fall apart. And if they lose these 2 games, we are about to be put in a Buffalo Bills fan's shoes. The Bengals are going to have to win a football game. Not against the Ravens this time, but against the Steelers. And that looks unlikely. But you never know. Some Andy Dalton magic could be passed to Jeff Driscoll. He could grow a red beard, and the leprechaun magic could happen. In addition to this, the Ravens are also going to have to lose an additional game. They play the Browns. The Browns take care of them. They're going to have to lose another game. Their 2 other opponents are against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Chargers can play football. They're known for screwing things up, but they can play football. And the Buccaneers have surprised us at points in this year. Either one of those things happen, and with the other things, the Browns are your AFC North divisional champions. How would you like to be wearing an AFC North Browns divisional champion shirt? I would love to be wearing that. Just imagine a full community wearing AFC North Browns champion shirts. It could happen. Now, if the Browns were to make the playoffs, they would be either playing the Kansas City Chiefs or the Los Angeles Chargers. This would be a home game, and the Browns are very good at home. Their home crowd is very, very good, and the Dog Pound is one of the better home crowds in all of football. They're 4-2-1 at home for a reason. On the road, they struggle, and if they win the division, unlike the wildcard game, they're at home. The problem is they're going to have to face a powerhouse in the Chiefs or a very, very solid team in the Los Angeles Chargers. Personally, I would much rather play the Los Angeles Chargers due to the fact that they're not consistent and are known for screwing things up at times. I do not think the Browns team currently can go head-to-head with an explosive Chiefs team. I'm not too worried about the offense. I know Baker Mayfield can do some things, but he's a rookie. Can't forget about that either. But I'm worried about the defense. The defense, when they're not creating turnovers, it doesn't look too pleasant. They have the players on the defense, like Joe Schobert, Myles Garrett, Demarius Randall, etc. But injuries have plagued them all year, and tackling is just a big factor that has not been able to get done. This Chiefs team will punish you for not being able to tackle. Kareem Hunt or not, they're an explosive team, and I just don't want to play them in the playoffs. Now, first things first, you gotta make the playoffs. Before you can think about who you're gonna play, you gotta make it. But the Browns can have some things go right, and they can be AFC North champions and shock us all.